Jabberjaw's in the booth. It is the Vulgar One, the Vulgar Son, the Vulgar Desperado, coming at y'all with today with a review of fucking Thor Love and Thunder. Yes, I've had the displeasure of watching that movie, and I will tell you about it so you do not have to. Now, there will be spoilers up ahead for those of you who don't want to get the movie ruined, but once the roaster gets a rolling, I can't stop. So, I'm trying to keep this review short and sweet, but, kind of got a lot to say here. But before we get into it, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate if y'all would do one or the other. It doesn't matter. Like it all the way. Subscribe would be the one that we really want, though. Just wink, wink. But much love, much thanks if you do that. So here we go. Alright, first and foremost, anyone that tells you this is a good movie, an okay movie, a movie worth your time, a movie worth seeing, they are fucking lying to you or they're borderline retarded. I just gotta be real. This is not a movie made for anyone with sense of the mind, anyone with taste, anyone that actually likes Thor. Definitely not for anyone that's an actual fan, like comic book fan of Thor. I don't know who this movie was made for, but there's a lot of glaring issues just like on a structural basis. Like first and foremost, tonality. Tonality is a huge misfire in these movies. And look, I think you can say this goes for the whole greater Marvel verse as it is right now. Maybe superheroes in general. And honestly, maybe just the action film. I don't know what these films are thinking, but they don't know how to be fucking serious to save their life. These people make movies that have this deep contextual like theme, and it's like in the background, right? So the movie starts off with gore, Christian Bale, and hey, I'm pretty sure he got a nice payday from it, and that's probably the only reason why he did it, because that man's a waste of talent here. Christian Bale is one of the best actors I've ever seen. That man was born to act. Go watch him in what is that Spielberg movie where he's like he's a child actor in this movie, and he gets like picked up in a Japanese internment camp. It's a really good film. But the point being is the movie starts off and, he's with his daughter, Gord's with his daughter. He's praying to the gods. They're not answering. Daughter dies. Eventually, he gets called by the necromancer sword and, he meets the god that he's been praying to. And he's like, fuck off. We don't care about y'all. And then that's where he ends up going gore, right? He ends up going all badass and God Slayer on these mofos. Now, you can't have a villain be the God Slayer and then have your fucking movie be Looney Tunes on the other back burner side of it. It does not make fucking sense. The tone shift is so jarring, it's dang near schizophrenic, right? Like you have this character, you have and honestly just the concept, a God Slayer, like that sounds fascinating. That sounds something that's like, yo, this is gonna be sick. This is gonna be something that I really wanna enjoy, some cool action. But when Thor and them are on the screen with the Guardians of the Galaxy with the fucking Rock dude, it literally turns into a scary movie. And I mean the parodies of like scary movies by the Wayne brothers. Y'all remember those, the scary movies? And not one or two. Those were actually good with the Wayne brothers in those ones writing them. I'm talking like Scary Movie 3, 4, 5, and 6. All the other shitty ass scary movies. That's what this is. This movie is essentially the scary movie of Marvel movies. Yo, and on that note, Taika Waititi or Waititi, whatever his name is, he is the Ryan Johnson of the Marvel movies. This man has literally put out, or been interviewed and has gone out saying that, oh, I wanted to make a Thor that fans wouldn't like, or, I was bored with the character. Hell, fuck, even Chris Hemsworth said the same thing too in an interview, So they literally went in this movie with the intention of making something that you weren't going to like, okay? I don't know who this is for. When I saw this movie, theaters weren't that packed, and nobody was laughing at the jokes that they were meant to have. Not even the moms in the theater, right? Like, it was not funny. It was not funny. They're trying to subvert expectations with all kinds of dumbass shit, and I literally do mean dumbass shit. I mean, You got Thor over here doing the fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like, it's almost like a movie meme or a meme movie. Like, that's like half the ideas come from some bullshit on the internet or some stereotypical joke you might have heard in the past. Like, it's very it's literally a parody, it's literally a parody. And I kind of don't like the fact that people can be dying in superhero movies now and it means nothing to them. It's just like, here's a joke. Like, every story beat in this movie was just for jokes, not for action, not for romance. Like, you were just waiting for the next joke and you would just see it coming. Something bad and tragic would happen and a joke would happen right after. So the movie continues on from gore, where we get Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're, what's his name? The Rock dude is kind of giving this whole bio about the Great War Space Viking, blah, blah, blah. And you just kind of learn that Thor's on his sad boy shit, even though he's back in shape. And, that's cool. But Thor gets a message from Sif, Lady Sif, the, that Valkyrie chick. I think she was a Valkyrie, right? But he gets a message from her. And this is what I mean, like, jarring tonal shifts. He's literally seeing that all these gods are getting destroyed and killed and whatnot, and she's like, Thor Odinson, where are you? We need you. And he calls to her and he goes to her, and then she's laying there on battlefield like, and I get to die a glorious death, where I get to go to Valhalla. And Thor's like, well, technically you survived, so you can't really go to Valhalla. You gotta die during the battle. I mean, and she's like, you're missing an arm though. She's like, what? And he's like, your arm might be in Valhalla. And it was a kind of a funny joke, I'll be real. But, it's like, hey man, like, gods are dying and shit's real and we're still cracking jokes, right? So eventually, movie goes on. You see Jane. You find out she has cancer, but she's trying to be all brave. But she's in stage 4 and not bald yet. I guess no chemo or whatever, But she's, dying, and then she kind of gets called by Mjolnir, and she goes to see the hammer, and then the hammer kind of comes back into pieces and basically makes her Lady Thor. And eventually, Thor ends up on Earth. They kind of have their little re-meet during battle. You kind of see how she gets the power because, during their relationship period, Thor was like told Mjolnir to protect her always, and that's basically why she has the power, which, sure, easy cop out, right? Easy cop out for honestly the situation. I think, okay, you got cancer. It's not, it's not a bad way to kind of I don't know, make her viable. As dumb as it is, like, Lady Thor is still a stupid concept. Like, let's not get that twisted. But if you're gonna go and do it. And all right, that works, I guess. Now, after the battle, or mid-battle, I should say, the Asgardian children get kidnapped. And again, this is where the tonal problem comes in. You have children getting kidnapped, and every other fucking minute it's a joke. Even in the planning stages of what do we do to get these kids back, there's mad jokes. It's really, really odd, because it's like you're supposed to care about the children. And it's not like their heroes need to be all sad boy in it all the goddamn time, but you can't just make something like that seem inconsequential, Like, I mean, Thor even, what's his name? Idris Elba's character has a son. I forgot the Helmage. I fucking don't remember the name of the motherfucker, but he, has that same power where he can, have these little vision versions of themselves and they can talk and blah, blah, blah. And, Thor is with all the captured children in this cell. And it's dumb because it's like these kids are freaking out and Thor's like, just making a bunch of jokes. Literally, I'm just like, man, this is not logical, man. It's not right. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest problems of films, whether it's superhero or not going forward, is like they don't know how to handle seriousness. I don't know if they're trying to downplay it to, appease the sensitive masses, or they just don't know how to be serious in their writing anymore. It's really weird, but the film goes on. They decide to, get the band together to go to Omnipotent City and, recruit some other gods for a war. And I mean, I guess one good thing is it looks pretty. Like the CG was cool. It's very bright and colorful, and that might get some people to enjoy the movie. Especially if you're tripping acid or some shit. But I really honestly think like the whole movie is fucking retarded. So they're in the city, and that's where you get your butt naked Thor scene, and it's kind of funny. He's got a R.I.P. Loki tattoo on his back, which like I said, there's some jokes in here, but yeah, like there's just so much retarded things. Like they get these goats that are just literally screaming throughout the whole movie, and every other time it's funny, but again, it's almost like a story beat. You're almost like, when is this fucking goat gonna yell again? It's really weird, man. But Zeus Khan's played by Russell Crowe, and I don't know if he was trying to put on a Greek accent, but homie sounded Italian, and he's just kind of a douche, and Thor ends up killing him. They steal the lightning bolt because the gods don't give a fuck. They don't want to help. And Thor kills him with the mad quickness, which I thought was kind of stupid. I mean, again, missed opportunity for some cool, actual, serious action, right? It's not fun when you can just beat people all very easily, right? And admittedly, they do have a fight scene here. Quark ends up dying, but it's not that good of a fight scene, nor that good of an emotional death, because he doesn't die. His face is alive, and it's just, again, it's all kinds of stupid. It's really just a quick beat down where everyone just kind of shows off what they got, and again, just kind of a missed opportunity to have like the two biggest mythological characters with thunder and lightning power to really have a showdown, and they just kind of sold it for cheap jokes. So they end up getting the lightning bolt, which kind of ends up being Valkyrie's weapon. And, just a side note to just kind of show you how they're not planning or thinking about anything they're doing on this movie. Literally, when she's talking to Jane before they kind of go on their mission, she's talking about how all Asgardians want to die in glorious battle. And she's tired of being a king. She's bored about it. And she's ready to go die in battle. She misses her sisters, blah, 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 that kind of shit. Literally at the end of the movie, in one of the final battles, when she gets injured, they go back. She's like, nah, I'm too hurt to go back and fight, and like sends Thor off on his own while fucking Jane's all cancered out. like Thor needed some help, and she said, I can't, I'm hurt. I was like, does that even fucking make sense to what you were saying earlier? Like you wanted to die in battle, and now you have the chance to die in battle, and no? Okay, well, whatever. Guess that means you're getting a spin-off, or there's another fucking sequel coming, right? But long story short, they're back on their mission. They go to find the kids. Every other 5 minutes, it's a fucking joke. I mean, the romance between Thor and Jane is really them just kind of trying to get back. Like, it's not even really like good romance, like even in your standard romantic comedy, romantic comedies, Natalie Portman's been in herself, like no strings attached, right? There's actual romance. Like the romance in this movie is really the flashbacks, and everything else is just kind of a joke. So it's not even like romantic as like, oh, I ship Jane and Thor. Like that's not even like viable here. It's really just like, let's laugh at these people, like, and I wouldn't even call it being awkward, but let's just like laugh at them try to get together. It's like not even like in an awkward way. It's just like, here's jokes about our situation and watch us kind of get back together. So it's like really, really dumb. And speaking of really, really dumb, let's just jump to the fucking ending. Again, no seriousness, tonal problems, and fucking progressivism. I don't even know what you want to call this, because this is like a problem with the movie in general. Like, oh, anybody can be Thor, it doesn't matter. Like I said, it works when you're like, Thor put a little magic spell on the hammer to work specifically for Jane. But in the end of this movie, you have a problem with all three of these concepts. Thor ends up giving all these kidnapped kids the Thor powers. And not only it's a serious problem, because it's like you're sending children into battle. Alright, this is not the fucking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or anything of that shit. You don't really want to see a bunch of fucking literal kids who have teddy bears and pajamas, right? Like going into battle. That's kind of corny, first and foremost. Second of all, again, it takes away from the seriousness of the situation. It's like, okay, these kids are about to die. You literally see a scene where Christian Bale like snaps some animal's neck in front of these kids, and next thing you know, like there's a little girl with a little lightning bunny, Thor powered bunny, and she's out there fighting. Like, you see how like that just is a little stupid. Now, I don't know if they just decided to, preach that message of anybody can be a Thor, anybody can be a Spider-Man. You know how Marvel wants to be on that. It's just a mantle type. I mean, literally, Valkyrie in this movie at one point says, "You're a Thor." Retarded. But, Thor gives all these kids these powers, and I literally think that was only the purpose of it, because it doesn't make sense to put children in danger like that. It doesn't make sense to just, change up the seriousness of the situation into a rip-roaring time for a bunch of kids to just be fighting gods and demons and shit. But I think they made all these kids get powers just to kind of justify Natalie Portman getting these powers, So that was just kind of asinine. We get to the end of this fucking flick, and Gore's there. He's going to make some wish to kill all the gods. Thor kind of gives him the heart-to-heart, and Gore ends up just wishing for his daughter back to life, which is fucking retarded. Because if he missed his daughter so much, he would have just, wished for him and her to be together in the afterlife. Whatever. But he wishes his fucking daughter back to life at this Eternity's End type thing. Literally, it looks like the fucking one of the final stages of Kingdom Hearts 3 if you played that shit. So he wishes her back to life. Jane ends up finally giving over to the cancer because Mjolnir was just accelerating it, basically, which, again, it's really retarded that Jane was even in that situation because Valkyrie's lazy ass should have been out there fighting. You're kind of like a half god. I don't know how the fuck you didn't heal up, and, I mean, she just got stabbed. Like, it's whatever. But nothing matters. So Jane's dies, Gore dies, Thor's left with this fucking kid, and there's your title, ladies and gentlemen. Thor Love and Thunder is not about fucking Natalie Portman and him. It's literally about Gore's daughter and Thor. Yes, this movie ends like how every other Marvel Disney franchise is going. You got your big strong man with your female sidekick because progressivism. I don't know what else to fucking say. But there's like this weird kind of notion that anytime a man is there or has a daughter or a child, it has to be a daughter. So Thor is now Uncle Thor, kind of surrogate father to this nigga's daughter, and he's teaching her the way of the warrior. I don't fucking know. It's dumb. Like, literally dumb. Especially considering if you could just go to Wikipedia and read Gore's biography, you'll see that he had a son, right? Gore had a son, not a daughter, not 2 kids, not 4 kids, and one of them was a girl. Like, he had a son. That's what the fucking shit says. He has a son. So Disney again with the gender swapping because reasons. I don't really know. I don't know how this is empowering. I don't know how this puts butts in seats because nobody wants to watch these movies like that. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I mean, look, X-23 Wolverine, everybody was digging that. And if you write it well and if you have legit characters like who, are actually existing, people can get behind it. But literally you watch this movie and you're just kind of like, well, why does Thor have a kid now, and why is it like that motherfucker's kid? It's weird. It's just weird, and it only serves the purpose of some Kathleen Kennedy shit, if we're being perfectly honest. So overall, I mean, I feel like I've been saying the same shit over. This movie is really, really retarded, and I guess to not just skip out on it, but like, let's talk about that progressivism. A lot of people are talking about the rock dude Quark being all gay, and I do find that a little bit odd, too. I mean, I can't remember if there were female rock people, but that definitely seemed like that was, their intention. They didn't really dive in on Valkyrie being gay super much, besides her kissing one of the Greek goddesses' hands or whatnot, but, maybe they substituted that relationship for the Quark one. I don't fucking know. Either way, definitely felt kind of forced in there. Didn't really feel like it had much of a reasoning besides, hey, we're adding this in because we know some people on Twitter want that stuff. Overall, it's not extremely woke in that regard. It definitely felt force-fed. Definitely kind of leans more towards agenda type activities, if you will. Like, it definitely felt like there was a purpose behind it instead of, hey, this being organic and natural and central to the story. So it's not the worst in regard to the wokeness, but it's definitely kind of forcefully placed in there. It didn't really serve much of a purpose besides, hey, I think people will go and see this movie because we added this. Overall, this movie is just really bad. Like, it's not well written. Like I said, even like people in the audience were just kind of like, huh, what? Like, just like it wasn't funny. It was literally a mockery of what Thor is and who the character is. It's a mockery of the superhero genre. It's a mockery of seriousness. It's truly and honestly, I'm I really believe that Disney and Marvel are hiring people to shit on these projects. Whether they're shitting on them because they're man, you know what I mean? Like, they're men things, or because they disrespect it. They kind of look at it as low brow, and it's like, say what you want about Zack Snyder, at least he gave a damn about that genre. He gave a fuck about the superhero genre. He knows how to write it seriously. He knows how to take it seriously. These movies here are just simply about, how do I make soccer moms or wine moms laugh? Right? Like, that's who these movies are made for. They're made for the people that look at superheroes and they think that they're stupid. They're kind of made for that Teen Titans Go crowd, if you will. So, yeah, definitely not a recommend. Watch reviews of it like this one. Watch other people's reviews for maybe more in-depth ones. Wikipedia it. But save yourself some fucking money. Do not go out and watch this movie. Like, some people will tell you, yeah, it's good, but I'm sorry, it's not good. These are the kind of examples of films where you're like, oh, you treat us like, just endless wallets that will go watch anything if you slap a Marvel Thor sticker or whatever on it. Save yourself. Go do fuck, nigga. Watch old content, man. Just watch anything else but this movie and anything else they're producing in the future. They're not taking it seriously. I think Marvel stopped taking it seriously, in my own opinion, after the first Avengers, because that's when in my opinion, they started getting real heavy on the quips and all that humorous side of it. That's when things started to fall down. And now I don't think they know where the fuck they're going besides making things for babies, because this is almost like a movie for children, like, and not even like children that like action. If you grew up on Dragon Ball Z and anime, this isn't going to be for you. The fight scenes are weak, So yeah, kind of went a little longer than I wanted to, but don't waste your time on this movie. It's not good. Taika Waititi, whatever, is the Rian Johnson of Marvel movies. But alright, y'all, that's enough for me. Vulgar Desperado out. Please like and subscribe. Really would appreciate that. And y'all have a good one. Peace.